Oh my God! The breaking news in the hip-hop world that's sending shockwaves through the industry. Jay-Z's attorney appears to be at his wit's end as mounting evidence against Sean Carter and his alleged cartel creates what seems to be an impossible legal battle to win.
You have now tainted them with information that's just not relevant. So the question is, why would you risk all of that? Why would you, try to stifle speech? It's a multi-faceted complication that comes with fame. That's part of what you have to deal with.
The drama in the courtroom is reaching fever pitch. The judge overseeing the case, where a woman claims she was assaulted by both Jay-Z and Diddy when she was just 13 years old, has just delivered a stunning rebuke to Jay-Z's legal team. In a scathing written order, Judge Annalisa Torres absolutely demolished Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, for his aggressive motions and inflammatory language directed at both the plaintiff's attorney Tony Busby and his client. But Spiro isn't backing down. He's pushing hard to get this explosive lawsuit dismissed, citing what he claims are troubling inconsistencies in the accuser's account discovered in an NBC News exclusive.
We expect Mr. Carter to be fully cleared of all of this in the coming days. Almost nothing that she says has checked out because this never happened.
This bombshell development comes right after our exclusive interview with a 38-year-old mother from Alabama who's brought forth devastating accusations against both Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs. The gravity of her claims has left the entertainment world absolutely stunned. She's requested to maintain her anonymity, and given the nature of these accusations, who can blame her?
What made you want to come forward?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough.
She says that she might have some facts wrong, but that she says the incident happened. What do you say to that?
Anybody, when they make up a claim, they can just keep repeating it and getting it right. But you never get the details right. And what happened during her interview with you is that the story began to unravel.
Spiro, who has been representing
The legal battlefield is getting more intense by the minute. Spiro, who's only been representing Jay-Z for about 3 weeks, previously demanded that this Alabama woman, currently protected under the pseudonym Jane Doe, reveal her true identity. But here's the twist. Judge Torres has ruled she can stay anonymous for now, though she might have to reveal herself later in the proceedings. But wait, there's more. Someone dropped a bomb nearly a year ago, claiming Jay-Z had relationships with underage women in the 90s, but somehow this explosive revelation flew completely under the radar. Reggie Wright brought this to light, and now everyone's wondering how this piece fits into the larger puzzle.
Reggie Wright.
We all forget about. Y'all see this picture of Jay-Z with Aaliyah when she was underage? Y'all forgot about Jay, huh? We only know about Damon Dash messing with Aaliyah and R. Kelly. But that ain't the only one that Jay had when she was underage. Y'all remember Fox Brown and Jay? Ain't no woman like the one I got. No one could love you better. Before that song came out, we used to hear it. I used to tell shit. I was like, woo, that shit. Him and Mystical, those were two songs that were hot. That it took like a year before it got, well, I'll say to the West Coast. I don't know if they were beating it up on the East Coast. But on the West Coast, it took like a year before those songs came out. And then Nelly's song with the Link St. Louis Ticks. But I'm just saying all that to say, Foxy was young then as well. And so, all of these guys and the underage young ladies was running rapid in the 90s. And so, that's all I remember. That's all I think about, with the DeBarge and Janet Jackson situation. That's all I think of.
Meanwhile, Diddy's situation is going from bad to worse. He's currently being held in a Brooklyn jail, awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking and charges. Despite pleading not guilty, the latest courthouse whispers suggest he's in deeper trouble than anyone imagined.
A disgraced hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs back in court today. The rapper appearing in a beige smock and pants for his pretrial hearing. Federal prosecutors are saying that they were on track to disclose all of the available evidence to the defense by the end of the year. Well, Diddy has been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn following his arrest in September in a federal sex trafficking case. Last week, Combs abandoned what was his fourth attempt to get released on bail. Joining me for more on this is ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky. So, Aaron, I know you just essentially left that courtroom. So what do we know about today's hearing?
Well, the prosecutors said they would disclose every piece of evidence that's in their possession by the end of the year. So by December 31st, the defense should have everything. And then the case is going to move toward trial in the spring of next year. Before that, the defense says it wants some clarity from the prosecutors about the scope of Combs's alleged criminal conduct, because right now, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said the racketeering allegations that Combs faces, the defense believes are a little vague. Beyond that, Kana, the trial set for May 5th is on, and if there are going to be any additional charges, prosecutors today did not tip their hand, only telling the judge that any additional charges that are brought would not involve a lot of discovery, meaning there wouldn't be a lot of additional evidence that the defense would have to go through. So in the prosecutor's view, there would be no delay, even if Diddy ends up facing additional charges.
The scale of these allegations is absolutely staggering. Diddy's facing multiple sexual lawsuits, with Busby representing more than 150 people, both men and women, who claim they were sexually and exploited by the music mogul. The allegations paint a horrifying picture. Victims supposedly drugged at parties across New York, California, and Florida. Some of these stories are so disturbing, they're almost impossible to comprehend.
3 new male accusers now say Sean Diddy Combs sexually assaulted them, according to civil lawsuits filed today in New York. The lawsuits, filed anonymously, allege a pattern of conduct similar to what other Combs accusers have alleged, saying that Combs would invite them for a meeting, they would have a drink, get woozy, and then wake up to Combs raping them. Combs' attorneys calling the new accusations lies, denying Combs ever sexually assaulted anyone. Our senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky joins us now for more. So tell us about these new civil lawsuits that have been filed, and is this the first time that the accusers have actually been men? I mean, we did hear from one accuser in the past couple of weeks, right, Aaron? So it seems like more men are coming forward.
These aren't the first men to accuse Sean Combs of sexual assault, but they are coming forward as a trio filed by a plaintiff's attorney named Thomas Giuffre, who says he had more than 60 people come to him to ask about suing Sean Combs, and he only filed these 3 that he says he was able to vet. He says they followed a pattern of people coming into Sean Combs's orbit in one way or another, being plied with a spiked alcoholic drink, and then waking up to having Combs sexually assault them. Now, Combs, as you mentioned, Kira, has denied sexually assaulting anyone, has called these new accusers liars. One of the men worked for Combs, and he says that he went to a meeting arranged at a hotel where Combs was saying to talk about some kind of monetary payment for jobs that he never got paid for. That's when he says he was attacked.
Diddy's legal team is fighting back hard, dismissing these cases as nothing more than shameless publicity stunts aimed at extorting money from celebrities who fear false accusations. Meanwhile, Jay-Z has come out swinging, accusing Busby of attempting to blackmail him into settling. Busby's response? His firm maintains a strict policy of not commenting on court rulings. The woman's lawsuit contains shocking details. She alleges both Jay-Z and Diddy her after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards when she was just 13 years old.
If you take her allegations as true, that Jay-Z and Sean Combs maybe went to a few places in that after party, so we don't know when this other after party where she claims she was assaulted took place. But again, this is problematic for her, right? The fact that her father can't back it up, the fact that the Benji Madden incident, there was also an incident that she called a Jumbotron, but there's been evidence to suggest there wasn't a Jumbotron. So there's holes in this story. Now, NBC News, they did report that they tried to locate this friend who allegedly drove Jane Doe to the VMAs that night, but it appears that person has died. and they indicated that they tried to reach out to this person's relatives, but they didn't really have any luck. Now, Jay-Z reportedly told NBC, this incident didn't happen. And he says, look, but Tony Busby filed it in court anyway. He doubled down in the press, adding, true justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. Again, referencing Tony Busby. So Busby released a statement defending himself, saying, look, Jane Doe's case, it was referred to me by another firm. Her story had allegedly already been vetted. His statement read, our client remains fiercely adamant that what she has stated is true to the best of her memory. We will continue to vet her claims and collect corroborating data to the extent it exists because we have interrogated her intensely. She has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. I've never had a client suggest that before. And for her part, this unnamed Jane Doe said to NBC, you should always fight for what happened to you. You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life. I just hope I can give others the strength to come forward like I came forward. And before we go into his latest response, I just have to give you one more piece of background information, because after all this happened, attorney Alex Spiro filed this emergency motion with the court, and he asked that either the case be thrown out completely or Jay-Z be dismissed from the suit. And he also said he wants to ensure that evidence be preserved in this case because he alleged that Busby may actually destroy evidence.
Both music moguls are vehemently denying these accusations. Spiro's latest move is particularly interesting. He's asking the judge to throw out Jay-Z's involvement in the lawsuit entirely, pointing to what he claims are glaring inconsistencies and outright impossibilities in the plaintiff's NBC News interview. While she's admitted to some mistakes in her account, she's standing firm on her core allegations. Things are looking increasingly grim for Diddy, and it's not just about the mounting accusations. His life behind bars is being described as nothing short of torture, raising serious concerns about his health and safety. Adding fuel to this already raging fire, rumors are swirling that Jay-Z's investigation might be connected to all this chaos, hinting at a potential massive fallout between these once close industry titans. These whispers have been circulating for quite some time.
Why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
There's been obviously a lot of
cruelty-free artistry.
Right, there's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music, and that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met.
The stakes couldn't be higher. If Jay-Z goes down, insiders are suggesting his entire network could come crashing down with him.
D-I-D-D-Y-D-E-V-I-L. The devil. He's the devil. And if he ain't the devil, he is the damn short shepherd for him. He wants to be just like him. Let's get Diddy indicted and let's get Jay-Z up next.
Do you believe?
I promise you, whatever trafficking the diddler is being looked at for, Sean Carter aided and abetted
or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still trapped inside the machine, working, paying their flesh debts. There's still a lot of them, and they know things that people ain't gonna be comfortable with them knowing. What people really need to be worried about is getting all of the witnesses to come forward before they disappear.
You might remember
The situation is so dire that Diddy was placed on watch. And when you hear about his life behind bars, it's not hard to understand why. He's being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, which many describe as absolute hell on earth. Picture this. People walking past the building can hear inmates crying out, desperately banging on windows, begging for help. During cold months, prisoners suffer without heat, making the already unbearable conditions even worse. Former inmates have painted a picture of pure misery. Even Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former lawyer, confirmed the horrific conditions after his stay there.
But one former warden who worked at the facility says Combs's life could still be in danger there. And that former warden is Cameron Lindsay, and she joins me now. Cameron, great to have you here. We just read it out loud. One lawyer for one inmate called the MDC overcrowded and understaffed, hell on earth. Combs's own lawyers called it horrific. Why are conditions so bad there?
Well, it's been a number of years since I've been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, but what I can tell you is New York City, being the biggest, most populated city in America, the MDC has a difficult time recruiting and retaining staff. So one of the key issues is the lack of staffing. And it would be unfair for me not to mention that the vast majority of MDC staff are hardworking, salt of the earth, well-trained people. I know many of them. They're fantastic people. Unfortunately, however, there has been a disproportionate element of corruption within the ranks of MDC. And I think that has to do with a number of factors, to include the inability to hold on to the really good staff.
Yeah.
Many of them leave.
Combs isn't the only famous inmate to be housed there. We had Sam Bankman-Fried there, R. Kelly, Ghislaine Maxwell. They were all inmates there. Sean Combs is being kept away from the general inmate population. You say his fame makes him a target.
Yeah, sure. And not necessarily at the MDC only. I mean,
anywhere.
Yes, in my humble estimation, his life, his safety is in jeopardy in any correctional lockup right now. If it is true, as reported, that he is housed in the special housing unit, it's important to note that the special housing unit is a lockdown, 24-hour lockdown unit. The MDC Brooklyn is a high-rise. The vast majority of the floors are general population floors, but the special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown facility. So this is for Mr. Combs' protection.
The physical toll of imprisonment is clearly visible. People were absolutely shocked by Diddy's dramatic weight loss during his recent court appearance. He looked noticeably older and alarmingly frail, sparking rumors that he's living in constant fear of being poisoned. Given the number of high-profile names being exposed in these accusations, his paranoia seems almost justified. In the midst of all this chaos, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and their daughter Blue Ivy were spotted together at the red carpet premiere of Mufasa: The Lion King. This family appearance came mere hours after Jay-Z expressed his heartbreak about having to discuss these allegations with their children. And as if things couldn't get more complicated, there's even drama swirling around Blue Ivy's parentage.
that were being taken. Now you're getting into
The details of the lawsuit are absolutely chilling. Jay-Z's accuser, known only as Jane Doe, claims the alleged incident occurred after an awards event where Diddy was present. Now 37, she's demanding a jury trial and seeking compensatory damages for a laundry list of trauma, physical injuries, emotional distress, psychological harm, anxiety, humiliation, physical and emotional pain and suffering, family and social disruption, and other devastating impacts on her life. The question on everyone's mind right now is, can Diddy and Jay-Z possibly escape this legal nightmare? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're dying to hear what you think about this explosive situation. Explosive.